For this region, the social science thinking portion deals with the issue of qualitative data as opposed to quantitative data. What we have mostly been looking at over the course of the semester is quantitative data. So we've been looking at facts and figures that help to describe populations or that look at different types of diseases around the world. But science is concerned with more than just quantities, more than just the number of things, but also with the quality of things too. While mathematics is really important in science, and our ability to capture things in numbers is very important, it's not the only way that we can try to understand the world, and being able to look at those qualities in some sort of systematic way is another thing that allows us to be empirically systematic about understanding the world and trying to explain it at the same time. Now, it's important to note that this is the case not just for the social sciences, but for the natural sciences as well. Humans and the natural world all have different qualities that need to be understood that can't be captured with math. In the social sciences, it's pretty easy to find examples. There are so many of them because human society is so complex. Different aspects of culture or the way that people interact with one another socially or politically, or even some of the basic ways that we perceive the world are things that we can't quantify. How do we understand in geography, for example, a sense of place, our understanding of what places are? It's very hard to capture that quantitatively in any way. In the natural sciences, there are things like, as I've written here, complex biological structures or differentiation of species that are more about qualities than things that are numerical. Same thing goes with geology and meteorology. Sometimes you can't just measure, you have to be able to describe what things look like to get the most information out of them. These are all non-measurable aspects of the way that we look at the world. So in both the social and the natural sciences, both quantity and quality are very important. Now, qualitative data can be collected in all sorts of different ways, but the most important thing to remember that it's collected systematically and then it's analyzed systematically to ensure that it remains empirical data that can be used scientifically. In natural sciences, people often use field or lab observations in the notes that they make, making meticulous systematic notes and then structuring them after that observation is done. In the social sciences, you can use a wide array of other techniques, including interviews, focus groups, even the use of photographs and imagery in historical documents can be done in a scientific, systematic way. The most important thing is, as always, that it's not being used anecdotally. We're not just looking at single examples and drawing conclusions from those, but we're looking at multiple examples and we're looking at those and then trying to break down what that information means. Here's an example that could apply to this course and to issues in development that we've been talking about. These are quantitative figures taken from the UNHDR that show the numbers of youth literacy for 10 selected countries. Again, countries from around the world that I've just sort of selected. They range from Italy, which has almost 100% youth literacy between the ages of 15 and 24, and Niger, which has substantially lower youth literacy. Now, the numbers can tell us certain things. They can show us the variation around the world. They can also show the difference between females and males. But they can't get to a lot of things that we'll never be able to understand just by looking at the numbers. We don't know anything about educational systems. We don't know anything about gender roles. We don't know anything about the sorts of occupations that people use and the importance of literacy in these countries. These are all qualitative aspects of being able to read or learning about reading that the numbers can't capture. So if we really wanted to understand literacy in these countries, we'd have to look at more than just who can read and who can't read. We'd also have to look systematically at all sorts of other qualities of lifestyles in those places and in the educational system and a range of other things as well. What's important to remember is that the numbers don't capture everything, and what they don't capture can often be captured qualitatively. So what sort of things might we learn qualitatively about youth literacy through systematically field observation and notes, or interviews with local educators, students, and leaders, or even by looking at historical documents to understand the educational system or the way that literacy is used? There are all sorts of different things that ultimately might be available to us outside of the numbers. So that's the important thing I want you to take away, is that quality is important in science, not just quantity, and this applies both to the social and natural sciences.